Hello guys, today we'll cook something with this ground meat. So I have to go to California for vacation or winter break. So I'll probably do some other cooking when I'm there. It's not gonna be the same format. We had a party yesterday to clean out the fridge and it's almost empty. So this is the last bit of things. So we'll make actually meatball, which is really nice way of eating ground meat. Okay, so I'll show you how to do that. For that we need obviously ground meat. I wouldn't recommend beef. I have ground pork, although I really prefer ground turkey. It's actually much better than ground pork to use in my opinion. But I have ground pork, so and then we'll need lots of green onion. We need an egg, and we'll need tapioca powder, or you could use flour, I imagine, or cornstarch would be a good substitute for tapioca powder. And we need soy sauce, and if you could manage, you can definitely use some sesame oil. I don't have sesame oil, so I have some sesame paste instead. I think peanut butter might be okay too, just a little bit, don't overdo. Okay, so let's start. To begin, we want to think about how much meatball we want. I'll probably want this much plus a bit more. I'll probably save a little bit of ground meat for something else. Okay, so put it in the fridge. And we want to put an egg. And so while I'm doing this, I'm actually boiling water on the pot, and it's just a water with a piece of ginger in it. We'll probably use 3, I guess, yeah. We'll save one for something else tomorrow. So tomorrow will be my last day cooking for a while, so we'll just chop them, I would say rather finely, because they need to integrate well with the meat. So when you chop these kind of crispy vegetable, you can just almost just bring the knife to the bottom right away. They'll separate fairly easily. If you have something that's a bit harder to chop, you will probably have to use a more slicing saw kind of a motion, right? So we'll just add these in for now. We'll probably save the green bits of the green onion for the garnish in the end, maybe. Yeah, we'll save some of them, and we'll just put these in. So just hit it with your knife, okay? They'll break. Alright, so far we have green onion, egg, and ground meat, and I think that's the only thing we're going to chop, alright? And now we want to put in a good amount of tapioca starch or cornstarch. It's definitely the same as tapioca starch. Put in a good amount. What this does is it will make the meat more smooth, because definitely with ground pork it tends to be grainy and it doesn't kind of go into each other well. And now what you want to do is try to mix it. What you discover is sometimes the mixture is really dry, and in general that will be the case where the ground meat is going to be fairly dry, so you want to add just a bit of water. To give it a nice mix. But don't add too much water, right? Because we can also use soy sauce for the flavoring. So we'll just use soy sauce here. Explode the packs here. I'm adding 3 packs. I'm not really sure how salty this is, but the idea is they will be going inside the soup. So if this is too salty, they'll actually give up some of the flavor when we are boiling them, okay? So just give it a good mix. We're mixing this, you want to make sure you go consistently in one direction, right? So don't do this. You want to kind of go in one direction and whip them together into a nice, silky, smooth mixture, right? Just keep going at it. I guess if you have a food blender, it will probably be easier. I do too have a blender, but I'm too lazy to wash, so I won't. Oh, my arm's tired. Do something else. So you also want, so in the soup you want to add vegetables. So I only have onion and these Chinese cabbage left, so they'll do. I think onion are probably okay to go in earlier, before the actual meatball. So I'll just roughly chop it up. That looks pretty good. I'll just throw them in as is. The water is already boiling, so this should cook the onion. Okay, so let's give them a good whirl. You should smell it. See if it smells good. Traditionally, you want to add a little bit of rice wine. Now, this is definitely not mandatory, so if you don't have it, I wouldn't even worry. And like I said earlier, we can have some sesame paste. If you have sesame oil, definitely do that because that smells amazing. And if you are desperate and you have to resort to peanut butter, I will caution against adding too much peanut butter because I have no idea what that would taste like. I just know when you're making noodles, if you don't have sesame paste, you can definitely use peanut butter. Okay, so let's get back to it. Make sure. So this is why I wanted a pot with a right angle on the side, so I can actually easier to mix them. If it's like a bowl, it's actually much harder to mix them well. So as you're mixing, you probably wouldn't have this problem if you are using ground turkey. But since I am using ground pork, which is actually kind of a stringy kind of a meat, right? What you do, you discover you actually have a lot of these like tendons and stuff clinging onto your whatever you're mixing it with, like if you use chopstick, right? So what you want to do is you take these stringy things and just throw them away, because they're basically just tendons, and they're fairly hard to chew. Okay, I think we're ready to cook the meatballs now. So what we do, I'll give you the pot view. Everything okay? Alright. So the water is boiling. So what you want to do is you grab a nice spoon. Okay. Alright. Can we see okay? So this is the mixture and this is the water. Actually, this is great broth making technique because normally when you make a broth, you want to use bone and cook it for a long time, so the broth will actually be flavorful. But with this ground meat, they'll give so much flavor right away. You can't afford to have a broth. Kind of cheating way of getting a broth. So what you do is you take the spoon, and then you kind of pretend you're scooping an ice cream, and you make a ball, kind of to the best of your ability, right? And then you just put it in and gently let go. Alright, so you see, that's one in there. And you rinse it with hot water, and you do it again. So just move it back and forth, right? So the problem with this soup is you need to skim the scum that flow to the top, because this meat definitely has some blood and some kind of impurities in it, so it won't be too clean. So you just move it back and forth. Whoop. Just put it in there. Oh yeah, so the water, originally I only had just water, salt, and a piece of ginger. Okay, so that's just a very basic soup base. And we'll just keep going until we finish. Whoop. You see, they're not really circular in shape, right? They're kind of messy. So one thing you want to look out for is you want to make sure the water level is just right. If you put too much water, it'll kind of taste very bland, because all the flavor of this soup come from whatever meaty flavor that's in these ground meat. So if you made a mistake and had too much water, this soup would pretty much taste awful. It would be like old dishwater. Alright, we're almost done. Put the heat to high. Probably got two more. Ooh. And here is the last one. Try to get everything together. Okay. Great. And now we'll try our best to skim the soup. Get these foam away. When you make ground meat, they will definitely have foams. I don't think they're bad if you were to eat it, but they just look disgusting. And this is a problem you wouldn't have if you use ground turkey. They're much more cleaner than ground pork. So if you really are stuck with ground beef, like maybe you have a bit of a burger patty left over or something, you could use it, but beef is really strong, so instead of using green onion, you want to definitely use something much stronger, like cilantro is really good. So instead of green onion, you would probably mix with cilantro, and everything stays the same. So we'll just let them cook. They cook really fast. They're probably already cooked. I'll just leave them in there for a bit longer. And now you are free to throw in whatever vegetable you might have. I have these cabbage. Right, so I just put them in. I'll probably add more cabbage later. So yeah, that's it. I will do part 2 when the soup is ready. And I'll see you next time.